Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Land Chatter. Today, Mark and I are sitting down with Don Townley, and we had the opportunity to sell farm ground for his family earlier this year on January 8th. He is here today just telling us a little bit about the land and how the auction went. So thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Good to be back in Rock Valley.
Yeah.
We appreciate it, Don.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 All right. So can you tell us a little bit about the history of the land and how long it was in your family?
Okay. It's our farm was a century farm, which is 100 years, but we actually acquired it. My great grandfather, Joseph Townley, actually acquired it in 1915. So
Wow.
when we sold it in January of this year, it was actually in the family 111 years. So
It's a long time.
That's a long time.
yeah, long time for Townleys to be on the farm.
And I don't know what your family paid for it back in the day that many years ago.
I don't really know that either. It was his name was Joseph Townley. He had another farm also in Concord Township, close to Sioux City.
Yeah.
And this was the second farm that he acquired.
Wow.
And then over his lifetime, he had 5 children. And over his lifetime, he acquired 4 farms and then had one of the daughters got the homestead in town when he passed. But
Okay.
he had 3 sons. He left each of those 3 sons a farm.
Wow.
My grandfather was his second oldest son. So he got the second farm that he purchased. And then one of the other daughters got a smaller farm. So,
Okay.
yeah, so it's kind of, you don't hear of that.
No. So how many years did you say it was in the family again, Don?
111 altogether.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
passed from the original Townley that bought it, owned it from 1915 until he passed in 1940. Then it passed to my grandfather, who was Harold Joseph Townley, Joseph like his dad.
Yeah.
And then he owned it until he passed in 1973. Then it went to my grandmother, his wife.
Yeah.
Grandma Townley owned it until she passed in 92. And then it went to my dad, Daryl Joseph Townley.
Yeah.
And he owned it together with his sister. There were only 2 of them.
Yep. Yep.
And then at some point in the early 90s, after Grandma passed, he bought out his sister.
Okay.
And that was the sister that came to the
auction.
she's still
Yeah,
alive.
she was there that day. Yeah.
Yeah.
You made a permanent
Yeah.
friend with when you announced her age.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was a nice lady to talk to by the auction too.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that went wrong was you said she was 97. Her birthday wasn't for another week. So fine point.
Don't call her a year older than she is.
So she was actually 96.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
For a
was
week.
nice. Yeah, she told me he got my birthday wrong one night. Yeah.
I think she told me in the pickup she was going to be 97.
Yeah.
And then I just assumed she was 97.
Right. Yeah.
And she was born there, right?
She was born on the farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. She got a kick out of it.
And you know, to have it in your family 111 years and have somebody who's 97 be attending the auction when you sell.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool pretty
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Pretty unique.
Yes.
Run across that every
Yes.
day. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after my mom passed away first, then Dad passed away 3 years ago.
Okay.
He was 25 days short of 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And that was your
And-
father.
Yeah, that's my father, Daryl.
Wow.
What you saw was actually the Daryl Townley
Yeah. Trust land.
Trust. Yeah.
Yep.
But Dad farmed till he farmed until he was 90 years old. So he farmed until 2013.
Wow.
And then he had a long time tenant who, towards the later years, had the bigger planters and the bigger combines
Yep,
and stuff.
yep.
And Russ farmed the last 10 years that
Yep,
we had it.
Yeah.
And then after Dad passed, we had Russ farm the last 3 years. We
Yeah.
owned it 3 more crop years after Dad passed away in February of 23.
Yeah.
So my sister and I, we inherited it. And we didn't want to do anything right away. We kept it for a while.
Mhm.
And then she lives in Omaha. She has 2 kids, and my wife and I have 3 kids. So the next generation was going to be 5. And then looking at even beyond that, and then none of them are farmers by
Mhm.
trade.
Mhm.
looking beyond that, then you get into 16 grandchildren that are out there. So it was going to get too complicated. So,
Yep.
You know, Don, you mentioned that I've sold farms already where there's been 40 some beneficiaries.
yeah.
I think the largest one I ever had was 46.
Oh, wow.
It was from a family that owned it a long time, like you guys did, and it just passed down. And I think when we closed on it, there was 46 beneficiaries.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's a lot of accounting.
Yeah. Was there any other factors that came into
in
the
selling
decision?
it.
Yeah.
No, I just thought my sister and I are both in good health. We didn't sell because either of us needed the money or out of necessity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a good time to sell while we're still healthy and could make good decisions and all that stuff
And be part of the process.
and be part of it. So it was, and looking back, that was a good decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good decision.
I want to talk a little bit about the little powder piece.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the
okay.
powder smoke.
Yes.
The farm was originally 160 acres, 80 acres just outside of this in Concord Township, just outside of the city limits of Sioux City,
Yeah.
and 80 acres inside the city limits of Sioux City. The road, Barker Avenue, that runs north-south between those two parcels that you sold is the city limits of Sioux City.
Yeah.
So back in the early days, it was my grandfather Harold, the second Townley that owned it, that bought what he referred to forever as the Powder 20.
Yeah.
And you think, what's powder got to do? Is that the soil or something? It means gunpowder is what he's referring to.
Yeah.
So back in the day, the city of Sioux City had to store their gunpowder somewhere. And not a good idea to store that next to anybody's house. So they went out to the furthest fringes of the city and had 20 acres that they owned. And not too much, nothing real close, no neighbors just across the fence to it. It's at the end of our property. And I remember as a kid, there was a mound there. I'm thinking my grandfather bought that in I was born in 47, and I can remember the fence line existing yet. So I'm thinking he bought that in the early 50s sometime.
Okay.
And then it worked out really nice because he added what they referred to forever as the Powder 20 onto our 80 acres at that time. And that gave us half-mile roads, which were ideal and helped a lot in selling the property.
Absolutely.
Too. Absolutely. That nice long road once you get going on it.
So that's where the city of Sioux City had a building that stored their gunpowder.
They had I never saw the structure, but they had some structure there on that mound. It's probably mostly a roof and then with a basement thing is what I would picture. But that was all demolished, of course. And we just added it onto our farm.
Interesting.
And then over the years, in the early 60s, they've had the Floyd River project where they channelized the Floyd River through Sioux City. And we lost 30 acres of the farm to that. So that's why I think that parcel you sold ended up being 69, something like that. So
I think the total between the two was like 135.99.
It was. It was.
A very interesting story. I wanted you to talk about that because that's a piece of history that every farm's got. That was interesting.
I don't know if anybody knows about that.
No, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's cool to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. So what were some of your biggest concerns going into the process of selling?
Oh, I'd never been to a farm auction in my life. So I talked to my attorney, about my estate attorney, and he recommended that I talk to at least two. And I told him the two I had in mind. And he said, well, there's a third guy you should maybe consider. And that guy's name happened to be Mark Zomer.
Thank you.
So you got a referral. You might owe him. So anyway, but I contacted Mark, and through your website, I think I said
you sent a request.
Typical of all your correspondence and responses, I think Bryce responded first right away and said, I'll put Mark in touch with you, and you did. So we came up to see you on a Tuesday in October. Brought my sister from Omaha came up, and the two of us came up and met in this room and had a 2 to 2.5 hour meeting that afternoon. You spent a lot of time with us. We came with a list of questions, and
I can remember you sat over here.
Yeah, I did.
You had a long list in your.
By the time I looked at the list, I think you had answered half of them anyway. So. But you answered all of our questions, and then we were impressed. And going home that afternoon on the drive back, I asked my sister if she wanted to come up the next day to go to the other interview the other one, and we both agreed, what's the sense of it? We didn't have the gut feeling that we could do any better than go with the Zomer.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
And you proved that out. And proof is in the pudding.
Thank you, Don. We appreciate it.
5 months later.
You know, I've told you this before, Don, but we have one of the best staff we could ever ask for, and that's everything, right? And when you got a good group of people, it takes an army to have success in that stuff, but we got a good group, and from start to finish, from marketing to selling to closing to all the stuff that goes with it, and they're all key ingredients. Absolutely.
The whole key is getting a good group there of willing buyers the day of the auction.
100%.
And I love the fact that we had the auction was actually on the farm.
Yes.
January the 8th. Could have been a blizzard, could have been anything. So we had a backup. Thankfully, we didn't need it. So we were right there on the farm for the auction. And a lot of preliminary work, brochures and everything had gone out. I had asked for 15 extra brochures from you. And I sent a personal note to people that I thought were interested, neighbors.
There was a few people that you had on your list.
President of a couple of banks in Sioux City that I knew, if they had any investors that they might want to tell it was for sale. And as it turned out, two of those, the two people who bought the farm were two of the people that I sent a personal note to. And I had heard from each of those gentlemen after I sent them the note too. So,
you know, it's kind of interesting, Don. I remember talking to them and they thought it was so nice. You know, they get our stuff. But they thought it was so nice that you sent them a personal note.
Yeah, Mark. He had stopped in after my dad passed and said he had driven by those nice half-mile roads if I ever sold it. So I took his name and number. Luckily, I still had it 3 years later.
No, it's always unique, Don, when we work in different areas and different counties. You get to meet a lot of new people and different people all the time. As Heather knows, I mean, we go all over the place between Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota, Nebraska. So, but I know you had a few more. I didn't want to.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
So how did it feel when the bidding started, and how did it feel seeing some of the interest in your property?
It felt good. I was a little bit apprehensive because Mark was a realist. We had an appraisal done, and so we had a figure in mind. And he was honest with us. He said, it's one thing to get an appraisal, it's another to sell it for that. That's one of your sayings.
It's true too.
Truism. So we had set a reserve, and I was hoping that day that it would at least come in that. It was a little bit less than what the appraisal was. So the key I knew was to get enough bidders there. And that morning, auctioned at 10:30, which is kind of the standard time for Zomer.
That is.
And so Mark said, let's get there early, get there quarter after or something. So we did. And there were already some cars there. And so I had a good feeling right away. And then Mark had us come down. My sister and her husband came up from Omaha, and we went down and parked next to the truck in the auction, the cart behind it. And then, a lot of pickups came and kept coming, and they formed a big U all around us there.
Well, you had a good crowd.
Yeah, we did. 30, I think we thought were there.
And then you had all the online bidders. So that
online, that also. So I had a good feeling about it. That we'd find out what it was really worth.
And the neat thing is, Don, you exceeded your appraisal and you exceeded your reserve by a long shot.
Now I'm dealing with capital.
That's the other side.
The farm's sold very well.
My old boss used to say, don't feel bad about paying taxes. It means you made some money. So, No, couldn't have been more pleased the way it went that day. We found out what it was really worth. We had some good bidding back and forth. And I was amazed at it. And then you sold it in the choice auction manner. So nobody knew which tract we were bidding on at first. But as it turned out, the bidding went up way beyond what I thought. It was like 5,000 more than the appraisal we did per acre. So we got up that high, and then Mark took a little break and came over and kind of had a smile on his face and said, well, do you want to sell it for that? And we said, yes, we do. But he went back and opened it up one more time. I think he got another $100. We had pretty much reached what we knew was the.
But you know, the interesting thing is on that, I always say the bidders are so important because you have to have bidders to have a good auction, right? And
Yeah.
you know, the other thing I think too, down other aspects play into it. You got a great location close to Sioux City, on the north side of town. Blacktop Road, which is always a plus.
Yeah.
You know, especially in the one
Good
parcel.
access.
Yeah, good access to it, and great people bought it. You know,
Yep.
good buyers, good people. They're both great to deal with, which is always important.
But they all saw the potential in it.
Yeah. You never know 5-10 years from now what happens either. You know?
Yeah. One of my favorite sayings you always say is, guys, you can only buy it when it's for sale.
That is true too.
It's been 111 years.
And you know what?
That is one of
once in a
his
lifetime.
Yeah.
That is once in a lifetime. Yes.
That is one of his favorites.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I also always say you shoulda, woulda, coulda. That's what happens on the way home.
Yeah. Why didn't you? Yeah. Why didn't the wife in the pickup? Why didn't you vote and say go one more time?
Yeah.
I was ready to raise my hand if
Yeah.
you weren't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to personally say, Don, to you and your sister and the rest of your family, obviously, thanks for hiring us. Zomer Company cannot have a business unless we have customers. And we appreciate that, Don. We really do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
No, you exceeded our expectations.
well,
so
we appreciate
very
that.
pleased with the whole process.
We appreciate
Good.
that.
Zomer
Good.
Company, really.
Well, thank you.
Anything else, Heather, you want to add to
Nope,
that?
that is all of the questions I had today. Again, thanks for coming down. Thanks for sitting down with us and filming this. That is all we have for today. As always, thanks for watching.